Hello, and welcome to Dan's Journalism 101 course. In this short video series, you will learn the basics of the broadcast journalism class in record time. I know the ins and outs of the story creation process, and I am ready to teach you guys some of my tips and tricks. One quick note, there is no possible way that I can tackle everything that you'll need in this broadcast journalism class, so use this video series as a guide, or maybe a crash course, to help you get started. But on that note, let's get started. Our first step in creating a story is getting your angle. Whether you've been given a topic from a teacher or you came up with it on your own, you must find a specific facet of the story to really dive into. Once you've found something you really like to talk about, we must get interviews. The process for finding these interviews is relatively simple, and I like to break it down into 3 sections. Stage 1, research. In our first stage, we need to research our topic and angle specifically, but also look into potential interview sources. For example, a story based on transportation at Steele Canyon could include bus drivers, teachers, or even students. Getting different viewpoints is key, and looking for a multitude of potential interviews leads to a successful story. In your experience, you're going to find out that not everybody's going to respond, or you may not even get to set up a time with the person even if you do get a response back. So looking for lots of interview outlets is key to actually getting interviews at all. Stage 2, contact. As we enter the second stage, we will begin sending our first emails. I'll put up a good structure right around here. We're going to start with the form of salutation, then explain yourself and motive for interviewing the subject right here in the body. Then at the very bottom, ask as nicely as possible about a time and place for an interview. All of these things should be done in the first, maybe second email that you send to the person. Making sure your subject isn't left in the dark for this interview is key to a successful story and interview itself. And stage 3, conduct. After you set up the interview, we finally get to experience the interview process. Starting off, you should shake their hand and make a little conversation if possible while setting up your gear. This makes a nice environment for your interview and makes it a little bit more lighthearted and can maybe give you some better answers in some cases. Once you've got everything in place, you are finally going to put that research to good use and pose several open-ended questions for your interview subject. You should begin writing these questions even before you get to the interview, just so you have some maybe on your phone or on a pencil and paper, so you can just have some notes in front of you. One thing to remember though, try to keep it a little lighthearted and short. No interview should be going 20, 30 minutes. 10 minutes maybe if you've got a ton of questions to ask this person, but keep it lighthearted and short. So now we've got our angle, interviews, and some research under our belt. So now we can begin writing our script for this story. Because your script may be the first thing your viewers hear, a compelling lead can turn our viewers' ears towards the story. As I'm sure most of you know, some kids never pay attention to the broadcasting class. So writing a catchy lead will immediately draw attention from the room and put your story in the spotlight. On the screen, I've got a little bit of an example of a lead over here on my other screen. So you'll see here that I used something we call NATS, or natural sound. Usually a good way to start your lead is to talk about what sound may actually come from this sound subject itself. So earlier in this video we were talking about traffic, so I said honk honk, maybe some traffic NATS, cars driving, how loud Campo is, and I said sound familiar. Underneath the lead we're probably going to have maybe a SOT, maybe there'll be one more line of VO. The SOT would be a student talking to the camera after an interview did, and VO is what we call voiceover. So voiceover is what you're going to do after your lead, and you're going to need about 3 or 4 lines after your lead to carry throughout your story to kind of keep that narrative. As we get further into the script, we must remember that it's vital to write in active voice. Everyone say it with me. We cannot forget this. Active voice. Active voice is the tense in which we write scripts to keep the viewer engaged and not sound like an essay. Instead of writing, "We were hired by the school counselor," we could write it as, "The school counselor hired us." If you're having trouble knowing what active voice is, if you can end the sentence in "was eaten by zombies," it's not right. So, we've shot interviews, we've written an epic script and lead, and we've researched more than you think necessary, so now we're finally at editing. Yes, I know, another step in this long and lengthy process, but with a few simple tips and tricks, this is going to be easy peasy. But I'm going to start teaching you guys this in my next video because editing takes a long time and there is so many different facets that I have to teach you guys. So I'm going to need a little bit more time than at the end of this video. So if you want to see that video, It'll be linked in the description below, and it'll probably be in the playlist as well. So I hope you guys go and watch that after you've got all of this stuff ready. So if you need your crash course on video editing, make sure to check out part 2 in Dan's Journalism 101 course. Thanks for watching.